Tesla Superchargers, playing nice, your news update, and Apple's $3,500 gamble on this edition of Arbitrage News Weekend, starting right now. Hello and welcome to Arbitrage News Weekend for June the 10th, 2023. I'm Joshua Stark. Starting early next year, General Motors will enable their electric vehicles to utilize a significant portion of Tesla's expansive charging network. Furthermore, GM has decided to adopt Tesla's connector, the plug that establishes the connection between an electric vehicle and a charging station. Following in Ford's footsteps, GM is now following suit by aligning their electric vehicles with approximately 12,000 of Tesla's nearly 17,000 chargers. Both Detroit automakers are actively advocating for Tesla's connector to become the industry standard. The announcement was made by GM CEO Mary Barra and Tesla CEO Elon Musk during a Twitter Spaces conversation held on Thursday. Blue Sky, the internet's hottest members-only spot at the moment, feels a bit like an exclusive club populated by some very online folks, popular Twitter characters, and fed-up ex-users of the Elon Musk-owned platform. Musk is not on it, and that might be part of the appeal for those longing for the way things were before the Tesla billionaire bought Twitter and upended nearly everything about the social network, from rules against harassment to content moderation to its system for verifying prominent users' identities. It also helps that Blue Sky grew out of Twitter, a pet project of former CEO Jack Dorsey, who currently still sits on its board of directors. It was designed to replace Twitter, said Saul Messing, who worked at Twitter as a data scientist until January and is now associate professor at New York University's Center for Social Media and Politics. Ford has planned to return to the 24 Hours of Le Mans with its iconic Mustang muscle car next year under a massive rebranding of Ford Performance aimed at bringing the automotive manufacturer back into the racing business. The Friday unveil of the new Mustang Dark Horse-based race car follows Ford's announcement in February that it will return to Formula One in 2026 in partnership with reigning world champion Red Bull. The Mustang will enter the GT3 category next year with at least two cars in both IMSA and the World Endurance Championship, and is hopeful to earn an invitation to next year's 24 Hours of Le Mans. The IMSA entries will be a factory Ford Performance program run by Multimatic and a customer program in WEC with Proton competition. A decade after causing a frenzy in Hong Kong, a renowned pop art project has returned with a splash in Victoria Harbor. Two colossal inflatable ducks standing at a towering height of 18 meters have captured the attention of residents and tourists alike. These vibrant yellow ducks, crafted by Dutch artist Florentine Hoffman, evoke nostalgic memories of childhood bath toys. As soon as the ducks were unveiled, hordes of people flocked to the promenade near the government headquarters in Admiralty, eager to capture snapshots of the iconic art installation. Hoffman, the mastermind behind this whimsical exhibition, expressed his desire for it to bring joy to the city and foster connections among people as they create cherished memories together. Double duck, double luck, he said. In a world where we suffered from a pandemic, wars, and political situations, I think it is the right moment to bring back the double luck. More after this.
I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
This week's Arbitrage blog includes what's up with Binance, AI labels, and Apple's $3,500 gamble. All this and more in this week's Arbitrage blog, available now at arbitragetrade.com. Now let's go to the president and CEO of Arbitrage, Mr. Royce Wells, for more. Royce, I know you're following this quite closely because it deals with Coinbase and Binance. What's up with these two entities getting basically railroaded by the SEC? They're filing charges against them saying that they're not what they say they are, and they're an unregistered exchange. What's going on there?
So, in the world, in the beginning, there were securities and there were commodities. And when securities were first decided upon, securities were basically things that were not monetarily based that you could buy, purchase, so like shares of stock and stuff like that. Well, when people invented digital currency, it was kind of sort of similar to like shares of stock, but also it was trying to act like regular money too. So the debate has always been, is it a security or is it a commodity, right? And this is where the SEC comes in. They're like, well, we're saying it's a security, and if it is a security, you didn't register this security as X, Y, and Z. If it's a commodity, well, they have to go and talk to the futures exchange, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and basically it looks like they're getting it from both sides.
So not only do they have the SEC after them, but also the FTC?
Yes.
What is going on?
The CFTC.
CFTC, excuse me. Sorry. That's FTC's two different things. Isn't it?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The question here is, there have been things said about Binance and about Binance's chief CEO Zhao saying that it's similar to almost FTX type things.
Oh, those are dirty words.
Engaging in deceptive practices, conflicts of interest, lack of disclosure, deliberate evasion, and they even go so far as to say, hey, don't invest your hard-earned assets into these unlawful platforms.
Well, yeah, that's basically they're trying to discourage people from being there, and basically with good reason. It's when cryptocurrency came out, people basically said, hey, it's the new West. We're prospecting coins, we're prospecting tokens, NFTs, all these things that had no regulation whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
And basically now they're trying to rein it in and put rules on it, and the people who've been out there shooting up and pretending to be Wild Bill this entire time are having to pay the piper now.
So we see this with Coinbase as well. Same situation basically.
I think the one with Coinbase is a little bit more controlled because Coinbase does have some regulations in place, but once again, because the SEC is trying to label these assets as securities and not commodities, they are saying that, hey, you guys are trading and you're not an exchange that can trade securities. You didn't register to trade securities and all these things that have to do with securities, but you're not a security.
We'll keep an eye on this. More after this on Arbitrage News.
Hope you feel secure about that.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys! I love this song!
I love these nachos.
I love our kickball league! Ugh! I love this guy!
What's your name?
You know what I'd love?
A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
To protect her home and family in a disaster, Karen was willing to wade through water, mud, and insurance paperwork.
Yeah, I can do this.
You go, Karen! By simply understanding and updating what her insurance covers and doesn't cover now, she'll be better prepared no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hello, Apple fans. We've got a lot to cover and just a little bit of time, so let's get right into it. Tim Cook opened the WWC this year with a pre-recorded segment from Apple Park touting the 15th anniversary of the App Store. John Turneston took it over with another pre-recorded segment speaking on the power and the usability of the MacBook. The long-rumored 15-inch MacBook Air was introduced as the world's thinnest 15-inch laptop, weighing only 3 pounds, with 3 microarrays and 500 nit brightness, with an 18-hour battery life. Next, they brought out the Mac Studio with M2 Max with 25% faster performance and 50% faster rendering. M2 Ultra was also touted with a 50% better performance over their M1 Ultra. The M2 Ultra is 6 times faster than the highest available Intel iMac. M2 Ultra powered Mac Pro was also introduced with rack mounting options. The next segment talked about software and throwing it to Craig Federici, who opened with changes to iOS with iOS 17. Updates to the phone app include personalized contact posters, live voicemail with real-time transcription and interrupt, and Facebook voicemail. Updates to iMessage include search, catch-up, inline reply, voice transcription, and check-in, which allows you to send a card and a route to friends in case anything is wrong on your trip anywhere. Craig also shared updates to AirDrop. Name Drop allows exchanging contacts by bringing your phones close together. AirDrop works now in the same way. New features to keyboard and input, including a new way to autocorrect. Predictions are now presented as you type, allowing you to express yourself faster. Journal, a new way to inspire writing, will be introduced later this year. Standby is a new screen experience. By turning your iPhone on its side, it allows viewing of widgets in time. iPad OS 17 was introduced with enhancements to widgets and the lock screen, allowing in-widget interaction on the lock screen. Live activities allow you to interact with and update many useful details, including now multiple timers. Health gets updates to interactivities with iPhone and Apple Watch. PDFs get form autofill and safe signature. Notes get a big upgrade when it comes to PDFs by integrating PDFs directly into a note. Mac OS gets some changes too, introducing Mac OS Sonoma. Many of the changes seen in iOS are here too, with some amazing screensavers. Widgets are becoming more powerful, being able to be dragged directly onto the desktop. Widgets fade into the background depending on your focus. Widgets are interactive now as well, prioritizing CPU and GPU to your focus and doubling Bluetooth for latency. Hideo Kojima was part of the conference bringing out Death Stranding for the Mac, utilizing Metal 3 and Metal Effects upscaling. He also promised future titles coming to the Mac. New features for video conferencing are also in Mac OS 17, as well as with keyed content backgrounds. Live reactions were introduced too with gesture control. Safari gets some changes as well, and adaptive audio, and we'll be talking about the big thing, Apple Vision Pro, later on in the show. More after this on Arbitrage News.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here.
I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy. You know what? We should make an emergency communication plan. That way we're ready this year. At my dorm, we have emergency kits for earthquakes and wildfires, but I'm sure there's something more local I can send you with a link.
Okay, smart.
protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
All right. Rolling tape. Rolling timer. In 3, 2, 1. The European Union, ever the paragon of online safety, has gotten with Google and Meta and said, hey, this stuff with false information isn't good. And by the way, anything that's generated by artificial intelligence, we want to put a stamp on that says it's artificial intelligence.
Are they expecting propaganda from AI?
So there's enough propaganda from real people. I mean, come on.
But AI can make it more convincing.
Calm down. Well, yeah, if you're a prince in Nigeria that needs $15 million US, maybe that would work. But don't you think that people, when it comes down to it, right? I feel like the European Union especially wants to babysit people.
I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, they don't like the Microsoft Blizzard deal. They don't like.
You're bringing up the past.
Yeah, well, it's all together. They don't like. They don't think that kids should be online. At social media, and they want to be. They want to rein that in, and they want to rein in, the chat bots and all that, things like that. They just want to make sure nobody spreads disinformation. It just seems a little bit hand-holdy to me.
Yeah.
It's like, we can't trust you to figure things out on your own. We want to make sure that 100%.
Yeah, I guess. To me, this, with everything that they're trying to do and label it AI, is real or is a Memorex, right? Whether it's labeled as such or if it's not, what's the consequence? Why is it important to be labeled as such?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it seems a bit much, right? We have had things like, for years we've had things like mass emails and robodialers, thank you, and mass mailings and things like that, where people just get hundreds of thousands of things in their ears and on their papers and on their computers, to where we kind of know what's going on, right?
Yeah, but I think in where we are, people are getting confused between what is automation and what is AI.
Yeah.
Automation, you can basically say, hey, this automatically gives you a response. It's not learning, it's just giving you a response. If you say what time it is, it tells you the time. Right? So this is just a call and response. It's not smart, it's just automated. But now that basically the buzzword is now AI, people are saying all automation is AI and basically put it on everything, right?
Yeah.
And I could see, like, even in ChatGPT, I actually went there for, I think, the first time about 2 weeks ago. And I saw that basically you can integrate it with applications. You can integrate it with talks. You can ask it to do different things for you.
Yep.
And they're literally, basically, it's like a helper. It's not necessarily trying to do anything. And I'm fine with it having saying powered by ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Right? At least that way you know that some AI was involved, but not necessarily, hey, this is 100%
I'm Smokey Bear,
an AI
and I
talking,
need an
not a
assistant
person.
to help you prevent wildfires.
Well, we'll keep an eye on this,
Dude,
too.
I've
More
got
after this on
I've been camping
Arbitrage
since I was
News.
5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling on it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off for school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
David Grantham's here. He's our science guy. David, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here.
So, David, we have talked a lot about AI lately. We've talked a lot about robotics lately. It seems like there's a congruence happening in research and development that is kind of Terminator-ish. Can we say that?
Yeah, it is. We're getting more human-like robots, from the Canadian company we talked about, doing the Phoenix with...
The Phoenix robot, yeah.
Yeah, it's a 5'7", 155-pound robot with hands and feet.
Yeah.
The only thing it lacks is skin and the realism.
So... here's the thing, right? I don't know how deeply you've delved into robotics and things like that. I've been a robotics fan for quite a long time, David. I from when I was 8 and put trash cans on top of RC cars and called them robots. There have been developments with AI and with facial look that is just ridiculous. Do you know the robot Sophia?
Yeah. It is kind of creepy looking, actually.
Yeah, very, but it has a very realistic looking face. Has even been granted citizenship in one country. I forgot which one it is, but
I think it's a Western European country. But
I believe so. Now, scientists are looking at a healing skin.
Yeah. So straight from the Terminator. No, it's not liquid metal this time, but it's just mimicking human skin and how the epidermis and dermis layers heal. Scientists, I think from Stanford University, they were developing a multi-layer self-healing synthetic electronic skin, and this guy's been working on it since 2012. So he's spent a lot of thought and time on this, and it's really cool, but you kind of wonder, maybe that has some kind of medical application too for people who have, plastic surgery or skin replacement. But he's using it just for robotics. So it's basically like, hey, you look at like the movie AI, where they have those layers of skin, it's very realistic looking, and they wound and they feel. I think this is along that line. We'll see how it all plays out, though, and how they apply it against the new robotics and AI stuff they're coming out with.
Well, it's really fascinating. Not only can the skin repair itself, but it also has sensors to provide tactile feedback, to sense touch and temperature changes. I mean, this is something that you're correct. It could hold a lot in orthotics. Orthotics is the science of prosthetics and trying to deal with amputation, especially. But I could see this being just an opening to people who have lost hands to finally be able to touch things, to feel things. It's very exciting.
Yeah, Elon, are you listening? Maybe you could hook it up to your human, computer brain interface as well, right?
Right. We'll be talking about that soon too. More after this on Arbitrage News. Thanks, David.
All right.
Stick around. I'm talking to Royce about the new Apple Vision next.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that. Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
What is dedication? My daughter is biological and my son is adopted. I love them both so much.
from the morning when you wake up to putting them to bed at night and every moment in between. I think a parent's job is to protect our children, but also prepare them for the world so they become good, kind human beings.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
WWDC was this week. That is the Worldwide Developers Conference for Apple. One of the things, the last thing that they showed was the Apple Vision Pro. Royce, did you see it?
I did not.
It's the ski goggles that everybody's going nuts for.
Oh boy, here we go again.
Yeah. So here's the thing. $3,500.
Not on your life.
$3,500. We're going to need 8 of them for the office. You good with that?
I can buy literally 8 85-inch QLED televisions and put them in your office for cheaper than these goggles. So no.
Can we leave that on the table and talk about this later?
No.
So this is the interesting thing. This is what I brought out in the initial news story that we did on the podcast, is the fact that it puts it firm with that $3,500 price tag, puts it firmly out of the reach of most of the people who would be interested in it.
No, it doesn't. And this is why I say this. How much is a MacBook Pro?
MacBook Pro, they start at $1,200.
And the high-end one completely done? Up?
Probably
all
around
the features?
4.
Mm-hmm. So right in the sweet spot.
Yep.
So you have your nice MacBook Pro, you have your nice, Vision Pro VR glasses, you got your $1,500 iPhone.
Okay,
you're set.
So how many people would buy the $4,000 MacBook Pro?
Almost everyone that's a business savvy. Typically, the people who like status will literally flock to buy it.
So here's the prediction, right?
Mm-hmm.
150,000 units out the door within the next year.
Excellent. See, told you.
Put this in perspective, though.
Mm-hmm.
They currently sell 200 million iPhones a year.
Yes, but those are at varying price points. Those are not all the 14 Pro Max. So yeah.
Here's what I'm looking at, Royce. There's some good things to this. There are some bad things to this.
Okay.
It's beautiful technology. You can't deny that. I mean, using 12 cameras and IR sensors to do hand tracking that hasn't been seen before, okay? Eye tracking that hasn't been seen before. It's pretty insane the way they have really done this.
I'm sure it's pretty.
Now, here's the thing. This was brought up earlier. It's the world's first self-contained affordable consumer level 3D movie camera.
Affordable?
Well, comparatively.
Compared to what?
Have you tried to price out a 3D cinema camera lately?
Not lately, but within the last 5 years.
So let's go with Blackmagic. Blackmagic has a thing called the Alexa, I believe it is.
Okay.
I could be wrong about that. It is an 8K 3D setup, and it is within the $20,000 to $30,000 range.
Wow. That just makes me want to say, Alexa, turn off the TV. You're welcome.
Thanks for that.
Arbitrage Trade Analytics, LLC is a privately held research company. Arbitrage Trade Analytics, LLC is solely responsible for the preparation and distribution of the contents of this podcast. The opinions offered in this podcast are for informational purposes only and are not intended to function as investment advice. Seek a duly licensed professional for investment advice. For more information about the informational research and services offered by Arbitrage Trade Analytics, LLC,